started Storm 10 years ago after receiving domestic violence. The reason why I started Storm was to empower other women. When I was getting abused and I started Storm, it was on the back of my child and her pain. Storm was built of pain, but success. When anyone goes through in Storm, they can overcome it. There's nothing that anyone can't do. Everything's possible. Domestic violence has no respect of person, colour or creed. It just happens, it's not our fault, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So I just want to welcome you all here today on our 10th birthday, because 13 years ago I was sleeping in the car with my children, nowhere to go, 101% dyslexic. There's nothing no one can do. Anything you want to do, you can do it. There's nothing can stop you but you. You are all great, amazing women, and I thank you for coming, and I thank the people that are on their way and coming. And the most person I want to thank is God for giving me the vision and making a provision for me.
Storm helps women to gain the confidence and the support that they need, and it's an incredible testament to the hard work of everybody involved that we're also celebrating Storm's 10th birthday today. This conference aims to empower women to become stronger parents and role models, and to encourage their children and the wider community to believe that anything is possible. I know that all of the women who will speak here today embody this principle, and that many of them will have overcome incredible adversity to become inspirational role models.
Have been fearfully and wonderfully made by God.
If where we are now with the friends and companions we have are people who are not encouraging us, are people who tell us we can't, then we need to get rid of them. We need to get rid of them and find new companions for that new journey that you need to take, so that you can get to that place where you want to be. You have the potential for greatness. You have the potential for greatness. And don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise.
The number of people who miss out on their cervical smears are disproportionately in black and ethnic communities in our country, amongst poorer women, amongst women who don't speak English as a first language. So, if you know someone who may not speak or read that great English, or is a bit sort of worried about going to the doctors and whether they'll see a female doctor, things like that, please take them under your wing. I'm sure some of the ladies from Storm and some of the other terrific ladies who are here today can give you advice, but please say, do go and take your smear test. Something, a really big leap forward for women's health. We're now vaccinating young girls with the HPV vaccine, which basically means it's to stop them getting, the HPV virus is one of the main causes of cervical cancer, and we can now actually vaccinate people against it. It gives protection against around 70% of the most common types of cervical cancer. So it's an absolutely brilliant vaccination for our young girls. They have it when around 12, 13, but around the take-up nationally is very good, but again, in pockets of some communities, poorer communities, some ethnic communities, inner city communities, people who move around a lot, perhaps their doctor's details, they don't keep them up to date, that rate of vaccination drops to something like 60%. So please, if you get that invitation, for it will come through school probably, make sure your daughter has all her vaccinations, because it can protect her in later life against one of the main health hazards that affects us as women. And it's a really brilliant breakthrough. So again, let's make sure our daughters are protected. And again, they're not dying of ignorance later on in life when they could have had a simple injection.
I feel that I am worthy to be praised. I have revamped my confidence. I have pumped up my stride. Yes, I am worthy, worthy to be praised. I have stepped up my game. I patted me on the back. Oh, I am so worthy, worthy to be praised. When I turned that corner, my new self jumped up high. Yes, I can be worthy, worthy to be praised. Today, I choose a new life, a new path I must tread. I won't fear the unknown because I am worthy to be praised. I look back on my past life. I might have been unworthy then, but now I am worthy to be praised. I know this new beginning might be a lonely road, but I know I will be so worthy, worthy to be praised. Claire Jackson.
And what we found quite interesting was worthy, I am worthy. The two words that I take forward are expectation and responsibility. If my expectations are reasonable and justified, then that's a good thing. And I am responsible ultimately for every choice and every decision I make. And with the right choices around you and available to you, one step at a time, one day at a time, you can start doing some remarkable things with your life and bring it round to a point where I can now sit and read documents, not terribly well, it takes me a lot longer than everybody else, but I know the difference between right and wrong, between behaviours that are acceptable and unacceptable, and about knowing that I'm in control of my life, and the decisions I make are the decisions that myself and now my family have to take forward into their psyche. And I think that is my journey that got me here. And now that I'm here, it's been a great life, a life much, much better than the one I had before. I see around me the opportunities and the fights that other people put on. If we all do just a little bit of something for somebody else or our community, and not just make it about ourselves, it's about community, it's about empowerment for women as a group and the community. And with that we can step all things forward.
I became part of one of the many victims out there of sexual violence because my stepdad made me the victim of his games from the age of 6. Raped by the time I was 10, and that continued until I was 14. I left school with hardly any GCSEs, like yourself, and I also suffered from quite serious dyslexia. I quickly got into a relationship that turned out to be violent. Once a victim, always a victim. That's what I believed and felt I deserved no more. By the age of 20, I had 2 children. By the age of 21, I was a single mum to 2 children because I was brave enough to go to a refuge and to escape the violence that was my children's dad. I decided at that point I didn't ever want to be a victim again, and so I trained to be a mental health therapist, and it took me 5 years on my own with no support because my mother never supported me as a child, certainly never as an adult. I quickly realised actually the purpose for not being a victim, it worked for me, but it didn't work for other people, and actually people don't want to be helped. They say they do, but they're frightened for change, but that's not me. I wanted to change and I wanted to be different. After I trained to do that, my son was excluded from school. Part of that, I gave the representation because I agreed that he had been treated very unfairly, and as a result of that, local authority guy said to me, you should consider being a lawyer, and it was a very flippant speech, but then I did not agree. In my final look here at law school, I found that I could actually still prosecute my stepfather, and that's where my story really begins, because when I finished university I moved from one part of Essex to another, so I was safe from my family and reported my stepfather to the police. 18 months later, after a trial, which my mother, my brothers, my whole family gave evidence against me, he was found guilty and sent to prison for 14 years. I'm now studying a Masters in Law. I have a book at the front for sale if you want me to sign it. I also am an ambassador for a charity called Child Victims of Crime, and I currently work with Action for Children to change law regarding child neglect, which I'm pleased to say has been given a go-ahead a few weeks ago. So that's me.
The word respect seems to have lost its way in society. We need a change in people's thinking. There is an ignorance and a non-understanding when it comes to domestic violence. It's not just about a man hitting a woman. Its effects and ripples affect not just the victim, but the world around and all the people in all walks of life, young, old, and not even born yet. Domestic violence isn't just a woman thing, it's a human race thing. Everyone deserves a voice, and together, volume can make changes. Silence is control, so hear us roar. Freedom and justice are worth fighting for. We need the justice system to listen to us, and we need sentencing to make sense. For each and every angel lost to domestic violence, too many to mention, our hearts bleed with a pain that nothing can cure. But it's time for a change, and the change is now. Let our newborn fly on freedom's wings, and let no one take your dreams. Make that change and speak out. And my painting is actually called Let's Be Worthy. Thank you.
My name is Sharika Spence. I'm a 27-year-old single mother of one. My passion is working with young teenage girls. We're growing up in a society now where young teenage girls are being brought up by the media, as far as I'm concerned, with some of the work that I've done with young girls. There's no value among them or self-respect. A lot of them lack self-respect and self-worth due to the things that they're being brought up in front of or what they're learning for themselves. I decided to set up an organisation called Skylar's Ultra House, where we will be housing young girls aged 16 to 18, helping them with early intervention on identity, personal development, personal well-being, health, one-to-one mentoring and counselling. Through this organisation, we'll be helping the young girls to live, learn and grow, where they can come and feel safe and grow up in a safe